This is Fleur coming to you today to discuss another valid topic of discussion. Yes, I'm so, wet. But in all honesty, we're discussing water, the new element coming over the planet, the new vibration that's coming to sweep and cleanse all the old and bring in the new. And a lot of us, yesterday I made a video, I'm sorry, I'm soaking. I made a video regarding the new elements and new frequency coming in that are causing everyone to feel a different vibration, like their bodies are changing and morphing and recalibrating to match the new frequencies on the planet. And we're having to make good with water, and that Aquarian energy that is starting to come in. Now we're still in the Piscean age, remember we discussed that, but we are transitioning into the Aquarian age. And with the Aquarian age, you're going to see the truth come out, everything coming out. And I want to discuss this new element. A gentleman who notices the Starbucks cups that are always on my page, because I had an affinity for Starbucks, and a lot of times I'm a recycler too, so I'll put my own little elixir inside of my Starbucks cups. But what I noticed with that, why that imagery may have resonated with some people and didn't, because that Ishtar is the goddess of beauty and evolution and love and of regeneration. Also Mami Wata, if you don't know, is the goddess and deity that is represented, and a lot of Africans still worship and have an affinity for this woman with beautiful dreadlocks, very reminiscent of the Andromedans. Also, she has a star on her head to denote where she's from, the Sirius star system. And also, she's representative of the water goddess of the mer people, the mermaids. Now, a lot of people, some of you are young, so you may have grown up on Little Mermaid, right? Ariel. And that story of Ariel is reminiscent of a particular goddess that used to exist, that changed, metamorphosized into a two-legged being. She was an aquatic being, a mer woman, and at a time of transition, she came upon land and actually coexisted with us, that energy, that frequency. And because we're going into this new age, she's returning back to her water base. And also she is Mami Wata, maybe coming into a lot of your dreams. And Mami Wata, with her beautiful dreadlocks and her wonderful fins, that is reminiscent of the Nomos. And the Nomos, as you know, are the entities that the Dogon tribe in Africa speak about when they connect themselves to their family, their mermaid family, their amphibian family, aquatic family that was originally from Sirius star system, along with the dolphins and a lot of the aquatic life that we see nowadays. And we take note that in the water right now, there's a regeneration happening. And what I saw a while ago with the whole Hiroshima radiation explosion, their nuclear power plant blowing up and exposing itself, we did see a bit of what I consider to be karma coming to that region where there was a lack of respect for the aquatic life. I mean, Japan was noted for those who were still fishing. They had a huge fishing industry, and they were not only consuming fish, but they were eating and consuming dolphins. And dolphins are highly connected to the mer family, and obviously the Sirius star system. And I personally think the consequence to them being so heinous and disregarding of those particular aquatic family of ours is what happened over there. And now their life is hindered the same way that they were okay hindering others' existence. So what are we talking about? Water. If you notice, water's coming back to land. A lot of places are being flooded. Paris in France, also the Louvre also flooded as well, which is an oddity. Europe, it was raining for days, and the Louvre was flooded. Texas was flooded. A lot of different places in the States and in other countries, water element was starting to show up in a big way. You have to make right with water. The Aquarian age is coming in, and with that, there's a transformation. And for all the life that has been disregarded, misused, animals and aquatic life that's been displaced based on the entities that have come to our matrix and have lived not cohesive with nature, there is a price to pay for that. And there needs to be a reset. And that's what we're seeing now. The water that you're drinking also has a high effect on how you feel on your inner self. Drinking water that's highly alkaline is important at this point. What do I mean by alkaline? You should be alkalizing your water, raising the pH of your water. It should be anywhere from 8 to 9.5. That is cohesive for your pH in your body, and it allows for your body to hydrate and to regenerate easily. A lot of the water that you're drinking nowadays is placed in plastic bottles, which we discussed, have BPA and a host of other chemicals. A lot of chemicals that are causing harm, not only to ourselves as the female element, but they're doing a lot of harm to our males. They're changing the sexual disposition of our males, and it showed up first with our amphibian family, the frogs, when they started to have certain behavior that was not noted for them. Some of the male frogs were starting to transform into female frogs. Some of them were developing ovum, and that was a sign. This was years ago. That was a sign that something biologically was happening. And you know, with the landfills, our landfills are filled with tons of plastic bottles that are breaking down and causing the pH in our soils to change. And as that changed and altered, it was altering our aquatic life and our frogs. And the first animals, or actually the first species that is highly affected, are the amphibians, because they're very sensitive to any sort of chemicalization in the soil and in the water. Their disposition was changing, and males were starting to mate with males, which was uncommon. That shows that there was some chemicalizing in our soil. That was leaching in through our soil because of the landfills filled with tons of BPA bottles, which is an estrogen mimicker. That is important for you to start drinking water, filtering your own water. And you know, I discuss this all the time. I filter my water. I have a triple tier water filter that I bought years ago, and I really appreciate that. I also magnetize my water, that allows for the water molecules to be a little smaller, and also pulls out any metals that would perhaps still leach into my water even after being filtered. I do that, and I fill them up, and I put them in glass containers, and that allows for me to take responsibility for the water that I'm consuming. And then I can place a frequency of love, which we talked about. Remember, the majority of our body is water, and just like the water on the outside of you, you should be making sure it's cohesive for you, healthy for you, and alkaline. You have to make sure that the water inside of you is actually the same. And that means to be giving yourself, eating well, eating holistically, eating things that are from nature to help the alkalinity of the liquids that run through you. So as inside, as outside, you should do both. Also, we need to discuss the fact that many of us living in warm regions are swimming in pools, and some of the chemicals in pools can be harmful to your endocrine system. And again, this is for people who are still living in areas where they have a pool, like California, places in the Midwest, and also in the South, the deep South, like Miami, Florida, parts of South Carolina, or anywhere else where you would have a pool. You would have to make sure also that you're not over chlorinizing your, putting too much chlorine or too much chemicals, but also there's a way to have a saline based pool, which is more cohesive for someone who wants to keep chemicals off of them, because remember, anything on the outside of you is also absorbed and goes in you and changes your molecular structure as well. So as the frequencies come in, the shift is happening, water will start to come our way. If you're not right inside with the flow and ease of the water that is the majority of you, you will pull in the frequency of unhealthy waterways coming to you in a very destructive way. So, family, I want you to start making True with water. How do you alkaline your water? Like I said, I have a triple tier filter, and let's take out, instead of buying water every day from outside and outsourcing from people or third parties that you don't know, why don't we start to get water and filter it ourselves? It's a much more inexpensive, practical way to make sure that you're getting quality water and you're not buying water, so you don't have to use your resources, your money to get water. And also, you can put whatever it is in your water. Adding lime or lemon also helps to raise the alkalinity of your water, the pH. Adding a tablespoon of baking soda, which baking soda is an anti-carcinogen. It helps to get rid of cancer, and chemo patients also have a port inside of them that's placed in them previous to having chemo therapy, where they add that to help them be able to process the chemicals that, the chemo that they're having placed in them. But baking soda spikes up the alkalinity of your water, and it's phenomenal for you, and actually helps to get rid of or shrink any sort of tumors or anything inside of you as well. So I always say baking soda is a great way. Also, when you're bathing in your bathtub, adding baking soda. Some people say Epsom salt, which is another way to add in a little magnesium too, which we discussed. But adding a little saline to your salt when you bathe as well is wonderful. Also a great thing to do, which I discussed with you guys previously, for those who are suffering from fibroids or even gray hair, some who are starting to gray prematurely, I add sometimes a little bit of raw blackstrap molasses, unfiltered, unsulfured, and that's also a great way to shrink fibroids, but also it's a great iron source. We have to make right with water again. The water is going to come and sweep over the planet. And if you're not healthy, your aquatic state inside of you is lacking and not healthy, all that will happen again is you will recreate that outside of you. And remember, you will magnetize what you are towards you. This is what's happening. The pole shift is happening right now. And we can have the most wonderful, phenomenal experience. And for my divine sea stars, this is part of where we came from. This is our age to really cleanse and clear and start to heal aspects that we dealt with that were so unhealthy in the male patriarchal system. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it was hot today. I said, if I'm going to do a video about water, I might as well be in water to show you things. So family, again, thank you. And again, if you're we're going to discuss this a little further, probably Thursday on my show on Aquarius Rising, 9th gate. Feel free to call in and ask any questions based on this. Let's start having discussions on different ways. And I know some of you have some of the most phenomenal suggestions as far as how to revamp your water. Also, adding love to your glass bottle changes the molecular frequency of your water that allows for more receptivity of that love vibration within you. There was a Japanese scientist actually, who did a study showing when you speak words of positive words to your water, you actually change the frequency, and negative words do the same. Start being kind to yourself, regenerating yourself, loving yourself, raising your pH in your body, allowing the liquids that flow within you to be so magnificent, so that all you do is magnetize the same outside of yourself. So when water sweeps over the land, it will kindly come and embrace you and only wash away what's unnecessary for your new life in the new earth. So anyway, peace, family. I know I'm so eccentric sometimes, but I love you. Keep positive, and check me out on Aquarius Rising 9th gate on Thursday night at 9, and we'll have further discussions, and you guys can call. And also for you guys who personally want to talk to me, you can do a Kiki session. I'm booked right now, but if you would like a Kiki session where you can have a one-on-one with me to talk more personally about that, you can email me and you can set up an appointment to do that. And again, I'm a spiritual muse, and I have a tendency to be able to motivate people to go in the direction that most services them in their higher self. So you can always do that if you don't want to tell your personal business on radio, the show, the blog talk. But I love when you guys call in. We can talk about what's going on. So peace, family. I love you, and we'll talk Thursday. Peace.